Hi, I'm Lori Craig,
And I'm John Hoke.
and we would like to share a short video on our QuickLook assessment and improvement process. Our QuickLook assessment is a broad overview of the SAP Plant Maintenance module, and it's designed to compare the customer's SAP PM implementation or application versus the SAP PM capabilities. There are 68 points addressed within our assessment utilizing pivot table capability. This gives us the flexibility to meet our customer needs within 4 areas of SAP. The technical object structure, notification processing, the order and confirmation process, and preventative maintenance. With our QuickLook assessment, you will receive our expert knowledge in maintenance best practices in SAP and our ability to apply that understanding to the database we built. We will show you what you're doing well within SAP and identify the opportunities or gaps we see along with solutions to help improve those gaps.
The QuickLook design focuses on benchmarking the customer's SAP PM utilization against SAP PM capability. That way we can see what opportunities are possible. And the assessment also focuses on the 2 manufacturing lowest common denominators, time and money. It is important to us to understand that the value to the customer is to address equipment reliability improvement as the bottom line. We support that proposition by making the QuickLook assessment quick, low cost, and ultimately focusing on removing SAP PM barriers that may exist to improving equipment reliability. Our 2-phased approach to SAP PM effectiveness is 1. How effectively and efficiently is maintenance work being accomplished? And the second is the equipment running more reliably using the information from SAP PM as a compass? The first part of the QuickLook assessment looks at PM order execution. Obviously, there is a value to pre-planning and coordinating all parties involved to execute maintenance costs most efficiently and effectively. But the real payback is obviously in improved equipment reliability. Assembling all the failure data over time to understand where collective reliability improvement opportunities lie by equipment type and root cause allows for focus on the low-hanging reliability improvement fruit.
To understand our customer needs, we want to focus on what is important. We ask them to force rank the importance or priorities they have within their organization of the strategies, sub-strategies, and tactics listed here, so we can then prioritize or rank the recommendations once the QuickLook assessment is complete.
Now we would like to take a glimpse into a small portion of the 68 criteria in the QuickLook assessment. For example, within the equipment section, we will take a look at 2 key points: equipment criticality and how criticality is used. This first graph, we test that the customer is actually using the SAP PM capability to designate criticality for equipment. In this graph, we're going to take criticality one step further. This particular customer had 5 criticalities assigned, and we're going to look at the A, or most critical pieces of equipment. On the left side of the graph, you'll see 22 pieces of equipment had a preventative maintenance route assigned, and all of them were completed within the last year. In the middle, you'll see there's 33 pieces of equipment that had a maintenance item or a preventative maintenance route assigned, but there was no evidence that the PM was completed within the last year. On the right side of the graph, you see 404 pieces of equipment that had no preventative maintenance assigned to them, and obviously they weren't completed since they didn't exist.
Within the notification section, we are going to briefly discuss the notification created by role and emergency notification alignment. This graph represents the notification creation by role and an increase of participation in the craftsmen starting in June after a refocus or retraining effort was completed. This graph shows emergency notification alignment with priority. The blue represents true emergency alignment. Within the order section, we will briefly discuss completed order costs and order cost accuracy. This graph represents completed order costs. The yellow shows trends by quarter of orders closed without charges. This graph represents non-emergency work order cost accuracy. the yellow shows most orders, through lack of planning or poor execution, are outside the tolerance of 20%. Within the order confirmation section, we will briefly discuss who did what. We will show confirmation performance summary, performance by user, and final confirmation. This graph is the confirmation performance summary by month and represents the actual hours versus the maximum available hours, which in this graph is about 80% compliant overall. This graph represents confirmation performance by user and demonstrates the ability to measure confirmations by individuals. This graph represents the final confirmation process. The blue demonstrates a perfectly executed confirmation.
The SAP preventative maintenance capability is powerful and flexible, which is why RSI has a completely separate preventative maintenance detail assessment. Here in the QuickLook we look at 5 points, but we want to demonstrate the bedrock of our assessment for plants that are moving from corrective to preventative maintenance. In this graph, maintenance spending is tracked by month for preventative maintenance, labor, and materials, which is in green, versus corrective maintenance, that's in yellow. Obviously, the intent is to increase the green and reduce the yellow over time. The numerical percentage at the top represents the preventative maintenance labor as a percent of total spending. Please keep in mind these measurements are only valid when the order confirmation and cost structures are functioning very well in the order and order confirmation sections. We want to take a second and delve into the pivot table capability of the QuickLook assessment. RSI does not just take the raw data and spit out graphs. What we do is we'll take it and we use pivot tables and look at information and data mine the opportunity out. In this particular example, we took the graph from the previous slide and we just filtered it for critical pieces of equipment. We could also do this for equipment type, by functional location or process location, or by many other different criteria. And what you see here is for the critical pieces of equipment in the plant, you can see the trend of preventative versus corrective maintenance. Think about how valuable this would be when you started looking at the type of equipment that you have the most trouble with, seeing if you're focusing on a preventive versus corrective strategy and whether you're making progress over time. As shown in the previous slide, each point of analysis contains a graph with the assessment data printed on the graph page. The final report will list, by the customer's own priority ranking, each point of analysis with an impact rating, grading, an assessment by RSI, and what the graph is demonstrating, and a weighted possible action plan direction. And the reporting is wrapped up with a summary report. All of these assessment points are grouped into prioritized tactics and scored against SAP PM capabilities. Each of these groupings also contain a general assessment and improvement focus. These groups are summarized as a total strategy score. The QuickLook assessment is designed to display graphically the opportunities and the next steps, allowing the customer to choose the improvement process that they feel will suit their business plan.
This is the assessment task timeline. Step number 6 is the project milestone. Once this step is reached, the assessment will take 5 days to complete. Thank you for viewing our QuickLook assessment and improvement process video. Please feel free to contact me, Lori Craig, with any interest, questions, or feedback.